The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is Speedball Mike Bailey. You're listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. Yosh.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keeping It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keeping It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out and bury all the frauds. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the Ace of Podcast on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here with the Discord Daddy MJ. On today's show, we will review Destruction and Ryogoku and cover all latest news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Please support our show by subscribing and following the Social Suplex Podcast Network or Keeping It Strong Style on the podcast app of your choice and leaving a rating and review. You can also get all the network's podcasts over at socialsuplex.com. Check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/socialsuplex. That's where you can get your official Keeping It Strong Style t-shirt. If you enjoy this podcast, please consider making a one-time or monthly donation by visiting socialsuplex.com/donate and clicking on the donate button under the Keeping It Strong Style logo. This week's episode is brought to you by the NJPW-EXT, the only browser extension for NJPWWorld.com, frequently updated and with features like dark mode, improved translations and layouts, custom and shared playlists, synchronized viewing parties, and much, much more. It takes NJPW World to the next level. You can visit njpwext.us today for details. MJ, how you doing, man?
The Destruction Daddy is back. Yeah, no, I'm thankful. I'm thankful to be here. It is Thanksgiving in Canada, and just thankful to be here and sharing it with you and the Social Suplex Network.
Yeah, thankful to have you. Young boy is out on vacation this week. This Hot, Evil, and Sonata main event. I know he wanted to be here so bad, but he's out on vacation. So, yeah, MJ, I'm thankful that you are here to talk about this lovely main event.
Yeah, you bet. Let's go.
Before we jump into that, you mentioned it's Thanksgiving in Canada. Is it anything like Thanksgiving here in the United States?
So, yeah, I would say somewhat. I would say less parades, less football. But we do a big spread. You do the turkey, you do the ham, you do the fixins and all that type of stuff, and you take a nice long weekend. But no, I'd say I work with a lot of folks in the U.S. and I know it starts early, Thanksgiving in the U.S. and I love Thanksgiving so much that I also celebrate what I call American Thanksgiving as well. So I like to bust out a spread in November as well, and enjoy the Macy's parade and all the good football that comes with it.
Man, so double turkey for you, huh?
Yeah. Hey, there's nothing stopping you guys from celebrating Canadian Thanksgiving here in early October.
Oh, I want to put that on the calendar next year. Maybe that's what young boy's doing. He's off celebrating Canadian Thanksgiving. They didn't want to give the 411, but maybe that's what I'll do next year. Well, MJ, we got a big Destruction and Ryogoku show to talk about here today on the show. But first, the tour was affected by the flu. We had several wrestlers that came down with the flu, had some really bad symptoms. Some of them pulled from some of the house show tours, some of the last shows on the tour, and Destruction, and Ryogoku. So Hikuleo, Gabriel Kidd, Alex Coughlin, Leo Rush, and Kevin Knight were the ones reported with the flu. Leo Rush, the only one that was not recovered in time to wrestle on Ryogoku. So he was pulled from the remaining of the tour, pulled from the triple threat IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match, and that kind of played out on the last Road to show, which, yes, we did mess up last week. We thought the Corkins were the go-home show, but they did air one more Road to show on October 7th, man. I can't keep track of all these Road to Destruction shows.
Yeah, it sounds like that bug was pretty nasty, and it had people losing a lot of fluids. We'll say it politely, really unfortunate that Leo had to miss the card. But seems like everybody else made it back, and it didn't seem too worse for wear on the Destruction card.
Yeah, a lot of the people who came down with the flu, they looked pretty good on Ryogoku. So yeah, we'll get to some of those guys' performances. But real quick, I'll just go over the results of the October 7th show. We don't have to go into an in-depth review on this one. So we had Oleg Boltin defeating Yuto Nakashima in the opener. We had the United Empire team of Callum Newman, Great Okan, and Hinare defeating Toru Yano, Yoshihashi, and Oscar Lube. We had a match number 6 in the best of 7 series between Strong Style and Team Nagata. And Strong Style won this matchup 10 minutes and 47 seconds, which put them up to 3-2-1, which was the scenario I had laid out. And Josh was like, no, there's no way they're going to do that. They would, potentially leave a tie on the table for this best of 7. But I don't know. I had a sneaky feeling they were going to do something like this.
Yeah, I also didn't think that was a realistic scenario. I thought you'd get a definitive winner, but yeah, it looks like I guess spoiler alert, the tie is on the table for later on in the show. But I thought the first couple matches, if I can just lay some comments down.
Yeah.
Really happy to see Young Lions back. I don't know. I love Young Lion matches. Bolton got to break out a new finisher. I don't know if he's used that before. I haven't seen it anyway. That it's almost like the you can't escape from Kenny Omega. He does that
kind of that
finish,
barrel roll, kind of Samoan drop type maneuver.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. United Empire Chaos, nothing big there, but great. I would say great exchanges between Nagata and Suzuki. Love when those two guys get together, and they were, they know how to entertain a crowd, whether it's in front of Ryogoku or Korakuen or one of these smaller places, smaller venues. Anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Suzuki and Nagata, such pros, such legends, great guys to have out here on this tour, and teaming with some of the young guys, kind of dropping some wisdom and knowledge on those guys. But yeah, that was a fun 6-man match there with Strong Style getting the win, Suzuki getting that big gotch pile driver on Nagata. So after that, we had GOD, ELP, Jado, Tamatanga, and Tangaloa teaming up with Kushida to defeat the Bullet Club team of Chase Owens, Clark Connors, David Finlay, Drilla, Maloney, and Gato. So a match there that was kind of previewing the Never Openweight title match, the Strong Openweight tag team match, and the Junior tag team title match.
I thought I was having deja vu for a second, where the finish was the exact same from a couple of Korakuens ago, where Finlay and Tama get into it. Tama's getting the best of him. Finlay ducks out and leaves poor Gato to catch a stun gun.
Yeah, man, you got to think at some point, like, who's making the call to put Gato in on the team? Like, we've seen several Bullet Club leaders now under the Gato kind of regime, as Gato is a heel manager, and they still stick Gato in there in the multi-mans, and they're just not learning.
He's got it in the contract. He's got an appearance fee.
After that, we had the House of Torture, Evil Show, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi defeating Doki, Sanada, Taichi, and Taka Michinoku of just 5 guys. So House of Torture really building up a lot of momentum on this tour. And pretty much that was a story they were telling, that, Evil was kind of running roughshod on Sanada. They had the fake t-shirts. He had the belt the whole tour. So they're pretty much kind of, I think, playing the heavy hand of like, all right, this guy is clearly champion, but he's not going to walk out as a champion.
Yeah, you had Taka and Yujiro getting us really fired up for the lumberjack. Poor Taka got a little choppy on his pee-pee. But you know what? I will say in this match, Sonata looked spry, man. He looked super athletic. He looked into it. He hit a couple like really nice drop kicks. He did that kip up, tore his shirt off. Probably listened to the review from the previous Destruction tour, heard my advice, and started firing up for me. So kudos to Sonata for showing a bit of fire in this match.
Yeah, and that the in-ring is never really the issue with Sonata. Like, the guy's super athletic. He can go, like you mentioned, sometimes just kind of getting that fire, getting that motivation. We saw a little bit of that here in this match. Would have loved to seen it more throughout the tour. But I guess better late than never, right?
Yeah.
Then the main event, we had a 10-man tag elimination match with Kazuchika Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, Yo, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Ryusuke Taguchi, defeating the LIJ team of Bushi, Hiromu, Shingo, Naito, and Yota Tsuji. Kind of the big talking point coming out of this match was Yo pinning Hiromu Takahashi, the current junior heavyweight champion, and also that was to help set up the situation. Like we mentioned, Leo Rush having the flu, he had to be pulled from the tour. So initially, Yo, he got the promo saying that he was going to challenge the winner of the 3-way, but then we would find out the next day at the press conference that Leo Rush was officially pulled from the title match, and his tag team partner Yo would fill in for his place.
Yeah, very nice of Leo Rush to donate his spot to Yo. You said Taguchi was in this match. I thought it was Mike Bailey.
That's right. Another talking point. Taguchi pretending to be Mike Bailey for some reason. Doing the Mike Bailey bow to a lot of these guys at the beginning of the match. Ishii was having none of it. Like, everybody else kind of played along. Ishii was like, bro, like, enough with the cosplay. I'm here to drop some brain busters. Get out the way.
Yeah, he wasn't shaking Taguchi's hand.
Yeah, he was having none of that.
Yeah, I thought this match was a little out of place, but I guess you can't have like the Motor City Machine Guns and Josh Alexander in a multi-man before having a multi-man. So, yeah, I think this one we got our first looks at Tsuji versus Okada, Tsuji versus Tanahashi, which I thought were a couple of interesting exchanges there. So, like Tsuji is he the most over guy in the company right now? Like, that place was hot for him.
It seems like it. Every city they go in, this guy is getting huge reactions, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying a couple weeks ago. It's like, I get it. You don't always want to push guys super hard. You don't want to always give them the Okada push, but there are certain guys who need to get the Okada push. They need the rocket strapped on them. I feel right now all across the pro wrestling landscape, there's just not that one really hot guy that's a world champion right now. I feel like Yota Tsuji, he has the in-ring, the look, the fanfare, like he's super over. He's getting these monster reactions. To me, like this guy screams world champion to me.
Yeah, he does. And he looks great against the guys he needs to. He's already shown us that he can put a 5-star match on the table, and he has that connection with the crowds, like we were saying the last time we were together. He does the intangibles and he does the tangibles. So, I said I was the one that says, don't rush it, but he keeps popping houses like this. I think it's undeniable. But this was a pretty fun match. I had no idea that this was an elimination match because I was watching this match while I was on treadmill and I was running, and I usually run to music, and typically I'll throw on like an old G1 match or an old Tokyo Dome match, that's 30 minutes plus to get me through my run. But this was new, so I threw it on. I was like, you know what, it's Japanese commentary anyway. I'm not going to understand much in the first place, so I threw it on, and I had no idea what was happening when guys were getting eliminated and like all this stuff. So I had to actually rewatched it before we hopped on, and I was like, oh, this is an elimination match. I get it now. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea this show was even happening until I woke up Sunday morning and I started seeing like all these results. I was like, I thought the Corkins were the go home. So yeah, I saw all this stuff happening. I was like, oh yeah, guess this show was happening. Yeah. Oh, it's the elimination match. Yeah. But yeah, good go home match there.
Yeah, it was really fun. I thought it was great, and then you saw Yo getting the pin on Hiromu.
Yeah, the crowd kind of loved that, and so we mentioned Yo filling in for Lio Rush. So they had the press conference the following day. The main focus was just going to be Finley and Tama Tonga and Evil and Sonata, but Hiromu showed up, kind of asking, why they're no focus on the junior championship, and that's when Yo kind of crashed the press conference, announced that Leo is sick and that he was taking his spot in the three-way match. Then, of course, we had the heated exchange of words between Evil and Sonata and Tama Tonga and David Finlay to kind of set the final stage for Ryogoku. So that will take us to Ryogoku. This happened this morning, October 9th. I was a true Shinihan sicko. I got up at 3:30 this morning Eastern time to watch this show live to make sure I had it watched before we recorded tonight.
You are a sicko. You are a sicko, because you know what? Today was a holiday. It'd have been a tough slog for me to get through 5 hours and 12 minutes runtime of destruction in Ryogoku. So kudos to you for being a true freak.
Yeah, I don't always do it, but I was like, I'm probably not gonna have much time to watch this show, kind of get my thoughts, notes, news, get the rundown, everything ready. I was like, might as well, jump in, get up early, and watch the whole thing and pay for it later.
They don't typically do these pay-per-views on or big shows on a Monday, do they? It seems
not all time. There was also a holiday in Japan. I think it was a bank holiday. So normally when there are those Monday holidays in Japan, New Japan will capitalize. I think there's a lot of Japanese promotions. I think there was a Stardom show that ran today. Right. I think there was a Noah show also. So a lot of Japanese promotions will kind of capitalize on the bank holiday, everybody being off, and try to run a show.
Right.
And this show opened up. The pre-show started 3:30 a.m. Eastern time with this new kind of concept they're doing called the Frontier Zone, which is going to give opportunities to young up-and-coming guys, independent guys from other promotions to kind of get a spotlight here in New Japan. Who knows, maybe it could lead to potential signings, getting more dates in the future. A lot of these guys are juniors. Potential, best of the Super Junior spots. We got Super Junior Tag League coming up, so it seems like this is going to be a new kind of thing they're going to be doing going forward, where they kind of do these multi-mans and give guys an opportunity to kind of spotlight themselves. Yeah,
this is it's pretty cool. And the guys, we saw some of these guys from the Freedoms promotion at the Independence Day shows. So a couple of them got to come back. The kid with the bunny rabbit was there, and a couple guys from DDT. So I thought those guys looked pretty good, and I'm interested in the concept for sure.
Yeah. So the match was Toriano, Yoshihashi, Oscar Lube, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Tiger Mask defeating Jun Masaoka, Kazumi Sumi, Kengo, Takahiro Katori, and Takeshi Masada. And we had a question here from Rambo and Slam Pig. What did you think of the Frontier Zone pre-show match? I like the idea. and hope to see more of them. I could do without Taguchi's ass featuring in the next one, though.
Yeah. Couldn't we all? I thought so. I think it's Takeshi. He's the 24/7 heavy metal champion. That guy.
Yeah.
That guy looks like money. So he actually looks a lot like Takeshita.
Yeah.
Like same build, sort of like that long hair. Yeah, that guy looks like money. So really interested to see what he does. I don't catch a lot of DDT. I try to catch their big shows, the Peter Pan and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know a ton of their players. So it's nice to see them.
Yeah, it's really hard to keep up with all the Japanese promotion, especially DDT. But yeah, he did look really good, and they had the whole thing. Since his title is 24/7. After the match, people were trying to pin him and win the 24/7 title. So that was a fun little addition. So yeah, I like the concept. Oh, so unprofessional here. Trying to pull up this review and my phone is just going off. But yeah, I like the concept. I thought it was good. I think that it would be nice if maybe there were less guys in the match to really kind of spotlight them. Because especially, it's like a 10-man tag, and you're not really familiar with the guys. It's kind of hard to kind of keep up with who is who and who's looking good and what the names are. But besides that, yeah, I thought it was good. And yes, I could do without Taguchi shoving a stuffed bunny up his butt.
Yeah, a little blood feud with Taguchi and I think it's Katori. I think that's the guy.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. I know it's not Kengo because Kengo's the guy that looks like Jin Kasai.
Yeah. So fun opening pre-show match. Like the concept. Like I said, I would like to see it. Yeah, if we got more, maybe it was more of like a 6-man tag or maybe a tag team matchup, just kind of get a better idea who some of these guys are and to really kind of get a hold of them. So then following that, the main card opened up with the 6-man match where we were promised the new member of Just 5 Guys. So it was Doki, Taichi, and the returning Heat Storm, Yuya Uemura, back from excursion, back from the United States, joining Just 5 Guys. They teamed up and defeated Sho, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi 7 minutes and 57 seconds.
Crowd was excited. And it was really nice to see Uemura get emotional coming back. You could tell that he was overjoyed and overwhelmed by the emotion, getting back in that New Japan ring and hearing the crowd. So I felt really good for him. And he's got some cool music. He got the big W. He hit that dead. I think it's a deadbolt suplex.
Yeah,
is what it's called. Which is a cool move. I like that. But it seemed odd. He didn't have the gear yet. He didn't have the matching gear yet.
Yeah, nobody filled him in that the Just 5 Guys colors are like black, gold, and silver. He comes out here, this bright red, white, silver. The Heat Storm logo and gear.
Yeah, he hadn't been keeping up with the promotion.
Right, yeah, busy on those Impact dates. Teaming up with Joe Hendry kept him pretty busy. Yeah, but besides that, yeah, he looked great. Man, he really looks like a young Tanahashi, especially when his hair was pulled up, kind of back in the ponytail bun kind of gimmick. Young Tanahashi, he came out there with those great arm drags, like a Ricky Dragon Steamboat-like arm drags. Beautiful crossbody, kind of similar to Ricky Dragon Steamboat. So really smooth, really fluid. A lot of people have been kind of pointing to Uemura kind of being the guy who could be the ace. And I mean, he had the looks, the moves. He looked really good here.
Yeah, I think he looks like money. He's got all the skills. I have a couple of concerns about the charisma and his ability to talk. Hopefully that's something that he can work out in Just 5 Guys, but he's been around, hopefully he's learning from Taka and Taichi, the guys that do have a ton of charisma and not the Sonata, who has his own charisma, which I'm not gonna continue knocking, but I would like to see some unique charisma that is Uemura's own personality a little bit more in the future here.
Yeah, and I think as time goes on, he'll kind of like figure out what this whole heat storm persona is supposed to be and kind of grab that by the horn. But besides that, yeah, I thought he looked really good here. Like you mentioned, he used the deadbolt, which is a double overhook belly to belly of a bridge, which was his young lion finish. So kind of bringing that over with his return from excursion. He has, perfected the move now that he's graduated, done his excursion. So he was able to hit that move and get the win here. So yeah, pretty exciting. I know there was a lot of speculation on who this was going to be. Most people were guessing Yuya after he got quote unquote fired from Impact, but people thought it could have been Nakajima, somebody throwing out Taiji Ishimori. So there's a lot of names that people were kind of speculating, but most people were speculating Yuya Uemura based off what happened in Impact, and everybody was right there. So yeah, I think he's definitely a welcome addition here, and it's going to be fun to watch him grow.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. Welcome back, Yuya.
Then after that match, we had the match that everybody was waiting for. The big blood feud with Tangaloa defeating Chase Owens 8 minutes and 5 seconds.
Yeah, Kevin Kelly was, acknowledging what all the fans were thinking before this match, and I thought Tanga looked good in this match. I thought he looked agile for a guy whose knee is probably bone on bone. Like he hit a nice missile drop kick that I thought looked good. He hit his 100 hand slap, the E Honda 100 hand slap combo that he does. And he showed up with brand new batting gloves, man. He looked icy. He's ready for MLB playoffs, man.
Yeah, he had new gear. He was out of the old, GOD camo. Yeah, that missile drop kick was pretty slick. There was an interview he did a while ago. I think it might have been Talk Is Jericho, where he joked about wanting to be a junior heavyweight. He's like, he really wants to be a junior. He's like, I'll do what I gotta do to be a junior. But this match, he busted out the missile drop kick. He did a 619. He was busting out all the the cruiserweight great classic moves here.
Yeah, and so he also after the finish, he got him with the. What do you get? He got him with the ape shit. Is that?
No, he got him with the cross face, the Operation Jado killer. Passed that's down right, from Jado.
Right. But yeah, he was taking a bow in front of the crowd, and I don't know what that means. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but I was like, oh, he seems to be thanking the crowd, giving them a bow, which is not typical. It's not what typically someone does in the second match of the evening. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
maybe something to look into.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's just being extra thankful. Finally kind of back from his knee injury, starting to be back on these tours again. Probably first time in Ryogoku in a while for him in a singles match. So the match was fine. Nothing blow away, but it is what it is. Solid work. Chase Owens is a solid worker, and they did what they did. They were continuing. Tangaloa was selling the arm that they had worked on towards the end of the tour, and then also Chase was targeting the surgically repaired knee. So there was a lot of targets on there, but yeah, Tangaloa was able to fight back, lock on the Operation Jado killer, and tap out Chase Owens. So that brought us to the next match, where we had the LIJ team of Bushi, Shingo Takagi, Tetsuya Naito, and Yota Tsuji defeating the United Empire team of Callum Newman, Great Okan, Hanare, and Jeff Cobb.
Yeah, the gear god, Bushi, back. I honestly, you showed up with the plague doctor mask.
I thought it was Marty's girl for a second.
Yeah. Dropping breadcrumbs. No, but I was actually wanting to comment about the gear he had underneath. He had like an iridescent mask with the iridescent pads and everything. Looked super fly. Love the gear on Bushi. I'm a big fan of the gear, and particularly Bushi, who I think is very fashion forward amongst his peers.
Yeah, that's the one thing with Bushi, man. He will always come out, with the best dress, the great gear, the mask, everything.
Yeah. So with this match, I would say, with the exception of Suji Osprey, the feud hasn't been great for me, like this Lij United Empire feud. But this match was pretty good. Like I really enjoyed it. It's a classic Los Ingos, like high pace match. Again, crowd super hot for Suji. Shingo had an amazing hot tag where he's just clobbering everybody.
hmm
Yeah, I loved it. Callum Newman got his stuff in, and ended with a great finishing stretch with Naito.
Yeah, I mean, Lij and UE are like two of the best factions in multi-man matches. I think the issue is after a long tour, we've seen some combination of these guys against each other literally probably 10, 15 times now in various 6-mans, 8-mans, 10-mans. So especially this wasn't really progressing anything because we kind of had the blow off like Osprey had beat
Suji.
yeah, he beat Suji. Okan lost to Shingo. Cobb lost to Naito. So kind of the blow off already happened, and they're still facing each other. So it's like, all right, what's going on here? But overall, the action was good. I mean, Callum Newman, I feel like he's beefed up on this tour.
Yeah, and he's working with a bunch of heavyweights too. So I don't know if he's like sort of hasn't decided which way he's going to go yet, whether he's going to have that junior run or if he's going to be a LP-esque heavyweight. But we'll see. The guy is unbelievably talented, and he has some really, really slick moves. That little like spinning insecurity that he hits is really sick. And he got to work with Naito in this match, so got to take a Destino too. So good for him. He's getting a ton of great experience working with a ton of good guys. So they must see a lot in his future, especially in the probably in the junior tags and Super Junior division.
Yeah, I'm sure they really trust and value Will Ospreay's opinion on somebody. So obviously, Will really, giving this guy a stamp of approval. And honestly, I think the best thing for him is to kind of follow that Will Ospreay blueprint where you have him start out as a junior and then fill out and become a heavyweight. Like he has a very, similar kind of frame to Will. And we've already seen over this short tour that he's beefed up. I know he's been working out in the Noge dojo. He's probably eating a ton of that, chanko, beefing up, hitting the weight. So yeah, he's looking good. I think, yeah, maybe another year or two, keep him in that junior division, and then eventually, as he fills out, get him up to heavyweight.
Yeah, Chef Nakajima will get him right.
Yeah,
he'll get him that protein, baby.
Yeah, get him beefed up. But yeah, he looked really good. Yeah, I noticed that throughout this tour, they had a lot of really good interactions between him and Yota Tsuji. A lot of great back and forth with those guys. So don't know if they're kind of planting seeds there as well. So yeah, good matchup. Naito hits the Destino on Newman to get the win, which would then lead us into the first championship match of the evening for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. The champions, the Bullet Club War Dogs team of Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney, defeated the intergalactic jet setters Kevin Knight and Kushida.
Yeah, first off, I think it's the right move to keep the belts on Bullet Club. Kevin Knight, I'm really hoping for a singles run for Kevin. I like him and Kushida together, but I want to see the jet fly. He showed again just totally freakish athletic ability and very competent wrestling skill. It's just another showcase match for him. He did some crazy stuff. Like he box jumped over like a double clothesline. He hit like a flying clothesline off the top where I swear he was like 11 feet in the air. And he hits that spike DDT where he's like it's almost 12-6 where like how high he gets, like that pendulum DDT. He's so good. Like I think, have a last junior tag run with Kushida, and then it's time for him to get into the singles division because he's that guy. He's you can't keep him in a tag for too long. That guy's got to shine on his own, and he's more than ready.
Yeah, I mean, another great young talent here, great high flyer. And this was a guy one of the guys that was suffering from the flu, and you could not tell it here in this match. This guy was, like you mentioned, jumping all over the place. There was a kind of crazy dive towards the beginning of the match where he kind of did like that, like the poetry in motion style dive off Kushida's back to the outside, which was pretty wild. And yeah, the one move, I forget what they call it, but when Kushida has a guy on his shoulder and he jumps up and does a drop kick, like that's great. Like he's just so talented.
Yeah, and there was that Rana spot they did where like Kushida was gonna try to hit the Rana, but Drilla like caught him, and then Kevin ran up and did the Rana on Drilla. That was crazy. Just some really, really creative spots that highlight his precision and his athleticism. And when you can hit both of those things, like that's the combo for some RLPW.
Yeah, definitely has some good old Rich Ladder Pro Wrestling. Yeah, there was a spot where he hit that double Pele kick. Like, man, he just does so many cool, innovative style maneuvers, gets the crowd really into his matches. But, we're giving a lot of shine to the Jet Setters. I thought the War Dogs looked great here as well. Very vicious, very intense. And we got to put over the Drilla Killa Pile Driver. Kushida, he got whipped into Drilla, spinned him around, got him up. The GIF is all over Twitter right now. Drilled him with the Drilla Killa Pile Driver.
Yeah, so I have not been on Twitter all day. So all these takes are fresh off the fresh from the mind of MJ. But in my notes, I have Drilla hit Kushida with the nastiest Drilla Killa I've ever seen before going into that full clip. And that move is dope. I love that.
Yeah, that should have been the finish. Like I was already, that popped me. I was like, yes, pin him. Like, what are we doing here? Like, that's the peak. Like, you don't get better than that. Like that flipping pile driver. I don't even know how to really describe it, but like it's like a tilt-a-whirl kind of into a pile driver. Man, it's just he just picks people up and just drops them with it. It's just so nasty. So yeah, he hits that nasty Drilla Killa, and then like you mentioned, they picked him up. They hit that full clip where he gets him up in the suplex, and Clark hits the spear off the top. And so the War Dogs got the pin here, pin Kushida, and retain, and they will go into Super Junior Tag League in a few weeks as the current champions.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good spot for them. Retain and have a match at whether it's Wrestle Kingdom or the next pay-per-view with them for the belts, whether they retain at Wrestle Kingdom or not. I think they're a super credible tag team. They do wonders for the belts. They've been on faces for the past couple of times, Jet Setters, and even Catch 2 sort of ended up being like a face tag team by the end of it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's good to have them on a set of baddies and let them run with it. And it's great for the both of them. I think it's a great spot for Clark. After that disastrous junior tag run he had with Taguchi, this is like real Clark Connors. I think this is what I had envisioned for him as like a full-fledged character in New Japan. So I love it that he's found his his UK counterpart that is just as crazy and just as bloodthirsty as he is. I love this team. They're great.
Yeah. And one of the things I love too about this matchup, and we've kind of seen this in this rivalry, is kind of the history between Kevin Knight and Clark Connors kind of playing out. Both those guys coming out of the Buddy Wayne Academy in the Pacific Northwest area. You know, that name's really popular right now with the whole storyline with Darby and Swerve and Nick Wayne. So those guys kind of came out that camp as well, and kind of their backstory playing out in this rivalry and feud's been great too.
Yeah, I agree. Love it. Love it.
So then that took us to the 6-man tag, the final match in the best of 7 series between Master Wato, Shota Umino, and Yuji Nagata against Team Strong Style, El Desperado, Suzuki, and Ren Narita. And coming into this match, like we mentioned, Strong Style had the advantage. It was 3-2-1, and Team Nagata, Team Blue Justice got the win here. End the series up 3-1.
Yeah. Can we talk about Shota for a minute?
Yeah, let's do it.
So this guy looks the part in the ring, outside of the ring. But my goodness, if his entrance isn't the longest, most superfluous thing I've ever seen, I don't know what it is. Like he's got way too many elements, and it takes way too long. He's doing like 6 to 7 minute entrances every time he shows up. It doesn't matter if it's like Ryogoku or like Kitsune City Cultural Gymnasium. He is doing the full entrance, and it's just really dragging out. He's a guy that I think has like charisma to spare, and he could use some editing. Whereas guys like Narita or Uemura could probably use like a little, hey, try something, see if it works. He's trying everything that's in his mind at once, and it's a lot for me. But I love Shota. I think he's amazing. That entrance, I gotta hit the skip every once in a while. It just takes forever, man. It takes forever.
Yeah, I mean, I think the entrance kind of sets him apart right now. Also, not many people come through the crowd in New Japan. But I do agree with you in the fact that I do think that there's something that needs to be toned down. I don't think he's truly found out like who he is yet. Obviously, he's doing kind of the Moxley entrance, walking through the crowd, but then he's kind of like Tanahashi, where he's kissing babies, giving them armbands and gimmicks and shirts, and then he looks like Naito. He's kind of all over the place, and I don't feel like he's fully like grasped himself. Like I feel like Yota Tsuji, like that guy knows who he is 100%. And then Shota, I feel like he's still kind of like trying things, and which is good, it's fine. But he's kind of being pushed as the ace, but I don't feel like he's fully grasped his character yet.
And don't get me wrong, I think he's close. I think he could drop the glow sticks probably, like if he dropped the glow stick gimmick, I don't know what the glow stick gimmick is about. I don't know if he's trying to sell merch or what.
Yeah.
But the guy he's handsome, man. He's handsome. He's ripped. Sell the t-shirts, dude. Like, sell a magazine or sell a calendar. But he spends a little bit, like even coming through the crowd, I'm into it. Be the white color John Moxley, right? Mox comes out in the black leather. He comes out in white leather. That's cool. I love that. Got it. But then he's doing the Bret Hart. Got to give the kid the glasses and the armband. You know what I mean? It's more Bret Hartism, right? Like it's infiltrating everywhere. He's watching too much AEW.
He's got the pink and white on, Yeah,
exactly. He's gonna have pink skulls.
Yeah, but I thought this match was good and kind of the culmination of a lot what we've seen throughout this tour. You had Suzuki and Nagata getting into it, Desperado and Master Wato, and of course Ren Narita and Shota Umino, and it's kind of turning into a battle of respect here.
Yeah. Nagata and Suzuki, their exchanges in this match were so captivating and like funny. because they aren't doing anything like exceptional here. They're just throwing forearms. They're throwing some kicks. But like, I'll be damned if that wasn't some of the best pro wrestling exchanges I saw on this card. Had the whole crowd biting on every punch, every forearm, every PK to the back. I loved it. Those guys really shone in this match for me. Shota and Narita, I love their rivalry. I think they have good. Their chemistry is building. But for me, I think the one down spot here is Wato and Despy. I think Wato has lost like all of his momentum since that Super Junior win.
Oh yeah.
And I think Despy not being into it. Like, I know that the gimmick is like Despy doesn't respect Wato, but like, I don't think he respects the program.
Yeah.
And that's kind of sort of left like a down spot there, because I know Despy's better than that. And yeah, so that's sort of the down spot for me. But I love the ending. I love the handshakes and Narita or Nagata and Suzuki slapping each other in the face and shaking hands. I love that. It's great.
Yeah, the closing stretch was really great. So you had Wato and Desperado in there. They're going back and forth. Nagata hits an exploder suplex on Suzuki. Then Despy hits a spine buster and a back suplex. But then Wato comes back, hits this big release German suplex. All the guys are down. Then Shota and Narita get up and they're trading blows. And then Shota kind of hits the Death Rider DT out of nowhere and pins Narita. They tie the series up 3-3-1. Like you mentioned, post-match, they all kind of shake hands. Narita offers his hand. Shota offers his hands to Narita, and Narita shook his hand, kind of accepted him, and kind of really showing that respect. And then you had Wato trying to get his handshake from Despy, and Despy kind of shook his like index finger, didn't want any part of that. And then the Suzuki and Nagata, like you mentioned, they stare off, and then they slap each other, and then they shake hands, and then Nagata got one extra slap in. Suzuki was like, hold on, even it up, got the last slap in.
yeah, that was great. I loved it.
Yeah, fist bump. So I'm all for like respect angles. I think that's cool, but the thing with this best of 7, I think the draw or ending with a tie was not the right call. I feel like we kind of left everybody where we started. I don't feel like anybody really got over in this feud, especially because like Suzuki and Nagata were such highlights throughout this feud. I mean, these guys have been feuding for 20-something years. They don't really need to get over. And obviously there were spotlights of Narita and Umino and Despy and Wato, but like at the end of the day, like I feel like all those guys are pretty much exactly. Like, I don't think anybody got really elevated from this feud.
This has been a thing, right? It's been a thing since the G1 where they're not beating guys, and they're I don't know if they're afraid to pull the trigger right now, afraid to make the wrong move, but being stagnant and guys not moving forward, not moving up, not moving down leads to stasis, right? And nobody likes that. It's difficult to get invested in stasis, right? We watch pro wrestling to get a victor, to get that either the comeuppance or the experience of a finish, the ending of a rivalry. And just like you said, we didn't get that here. We got a tie. And I don't know if that's us as like Western fans where we need one person at the top of the mountain at the end of the day. But it's difficult to get invested in a tie, right? And so, and it's like that in any kind of sport, I think that's the knock on soccer sometimes, or, a 0-0 tie or a 1-1 tie is not it's not satisfying, right? And that's why we watch this sport, is to have those satisfying endings at the end. And unfortunate we didn't get that here. But, hopefully this sends them off into their own direction so that we can get something a little bit more meaty out of at least the 4 of them. And lead to something meaningful, I hope.
Yeah, it's just kind of your typical 50-50 booking. And, been hearing, Uncle Dave on Wrestling Observer Radio, talking about AEW and how they kind of have a lot of guys in the middle. There's not a lot of guys moving up and down. And I feel like that was kind of the situation here in this matchup. Like you mentioned, Wato has lost a ton of momentum. I almost forget sometimes that he won Best of Super Juniors, that he had a 5-star match with Teton. It doesn't seem like that the way he's being booked and the way he's been used in this feud. Desperados has kind of been the background, and Umino and Narita, they had, a G1 where, they were some of the top guys in their block, but, neither of those guys won the block, and none of those guys advanced into the quarterfinals. So yeah, it just kind of seems in a time where a lot of these guys really need to be moved up the card, getting pushed. They're not getting pushed. And I just think it's one of those situations where they put two teams against each other and it's like, well, we don't want to beat them, so let's just do a tie. But the thing is, it's like, you don't have to book this. Like, if you don't want to beat Strong Style, if you don't want to beat Narita, if you don't want to beat Umino and Wato and all these guys, then don't book this feud. Like, you should have done Strong Style against a team that they could beat so that they can get elevated. And then you should have done Wato, Umino, and Nagata against another team that they could beat so they can get elevated. But yeah, kind of just ending flat for me. It kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. Yeah,
it's unfortunate, and hopefully there's something better on the horizon for all of these guys.
Yeah, because I mean, now is the peak time to really get stuff going. We're a few months away from Wrestle Kingdom. I know it might seem a little early, but it's only October. But we got the music at the end of the show. Wrestle Kingdom is right around the corner. Get your countdown clocks out. Get your calendars ready. Shinny Han is coming to town, and we're a few months away from the big show. And what are these guys doing? Some of these guys, they're not juniors. They're not going to be in Junior Tag League. I mean, some of them might be stuck in World Tag League, the heavyweight tour in December. But I feel like now, pretty much like October and November is pretty much the last chance to kind of get slotted so where you can get in a good spot on the Tokyo Dome card.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're going to be in the Rambo.
Exactly. Like, I don't think like Narita and Umino need to be in the Rambo, especially Narita. I mean, he was in the TV World title match last year with Zack Sabre Jr. He should be, and he had the Shibata match the year before. So if he's in the Rambo, that's a decline for him. Like, he should be in a featured singles match, whether that's him and Umino or some other singles match. And same for Umino. I know last year he was in the Muto 6-man tag thing, but he's another guy that should be, if he's not in some kind of like tag league match, and he should be featured in a special singles match.
Yeah, they need to settle it, those two. We need to get something out of this feud, right? And I don't know if it's like, just put Shota over. He's clearly the guy, right? Like, Narita can fight his way back up, and that's I feel like that's a good part of his story and would make it like part of his next year is to like sort of come back from the big loss at Wrestle Kingdom and give Shota a bump. He needs a bump, man.
Yeah, I think Gatos is playing it too safe right now, and I think he needs to take more risk. I mean, he's taking a risk in other areas, like the world title main event. But with all these young guys, like, business is not that great right now. I feel like you can try some things. You can, like you mentioned, have Umino win some more, have Tsuji win some more, have Narita win some more. Like, push these guys.
Yeah. So I think we're on the same page there.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next matchup here, the NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team title match. The challengers, the Guerrillas of Destiny team of El Phantasmo and Hikuleo, defeated the Bullet Club War Dogs team of Alex Coughlin and Gabriel Kidd. Yeah,
this was okay. Not a ton to sink your teeth into here, to be honest. I thought there were some really cool exchanges with LP. Flying around, he did that spot where he hit the plancha, and then he hit something else, and then he hits like a lion salt. He does like 3 flying moves in a row.
Yeah, he changed it up a little bit because he did he ended up doing like a crossbody to the outside, and then he came back in and did the roll into like the big lion salt.
Yeah, and that was good. And then Coughlin, like right out of that lion salt, Coughlin did that like freak move where he like rolls out of it from the ground and picks him up into like a vertical suplex, and then he just tossed LP out of the ring. I was like, oh my god, like you could break an ankle doing that. Like, Adam Cole's jumping off ramps breaking ankles, but like LP's getting tossed 10 feet in the air to the ground.
I was chatting with a dude named Scorpio on the extension chat this morning, and I was like, man, Colin did not have to throw ELP out there like that, man. He had him straight up in the vertical and then just walked over and tossed him right out the ring.
Excessive. It was excessive. He also gut wrenched Hikuleo, which is like, that takes a ton of strength, man. He was holding him there for a minute, gut wrenched him. Yeah, just a total freak. I think it was a good move to get the titles off Bullet Club now as like the failing up mechanism for them. Move them into the world title scene, hopefully.
Yeah.
It's also good to establish Leo and LP as a legitimate team. I think that having them with these like, let's say minor titles, sort of gives them a little bit of credibility and a bit of momentum as a tag team sort of right away, which I think the last time we talked, we're like, it's kind of a weird tag team, LP and Hikuleo. So I think this, helps that a little bit, helps that uneasy feeling a little bit for me anyway.
Yeah, I think it was good too for El Fantasmo to get a win. He really kind of been on the losing end kind of since G1, and in this whole feud against Bullet Club, he really hasn't had that one big win yet. This was kind of a big redeeming moment for him to finally get a win over the Bullet Club unit, and to win these tag titles here with Hikuleo. And, this match was a little bit better than I expected. I thought ELP and Hikuleo made a fine team. But like you said, I do think this accomplishes two things. It does open up Coughlin and Kid to have a good World Tag League, because the strong titles are not holding them down, so they could potentially win it or go to the finals, have a really strong showing and, make a claim to get in the tag title match at the Dome. And then it gives ELP and Hikuleo something. They'll be defending them at the Fighting Spirit Unleashed show in October. Kind of give them something on the side to do as well. So I think it really helps. It's one of those situations where I think Warlocks get over by losing as well as the winners got over by winning.
Yeah, right decision for sure.
And then after that, we had the never open weight 6-man tag team title match. The champions Kazuchika Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, and Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated the Motor City Machine Guns of Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin and their partner, the Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander.
I am a long-time Alex Shelley mark, so this is something I was looking forward to, and I don't watch a ton of Impact, so like I got to see he won the world title and everything, so super happy as a guy who watched him in the Embassy, the first Embassy back in ROH in like 2006.
With Jimmy Rave.
Yeah, I was and then Generation Me in. He was in Generation Me, right?
Well, Generation Me that was the Young Bucks, I think, in Impact. Yeah, but there was
he was in some group with Kevin Nash though.
The Paparazzi Productions.
yeah. That's I was watching TNA at that time and stuff, and I had liked Alex Shelley, from ROH. So when I saw him in TNA, I was like, this guy's my guy. So awesome! It was awesome to see him, and Motor City Machine Guns, one of the best tag teams of all time for my money anyways. So this match was awesome. Lots of fun, lots of great tag work from Motor City Machine Guns. Ishii had great exchanges with Shelley and Sabin before getting into like a big hoss battle with Alexander, which I think those guys are pretty well matched. Ishii hit him with a headbutt that knocked his headgear off.
Yes.
Which I was like, that's a cool spot. I really like that.
Yeah, that was dope. Yeah, Ishii just winds back, big headbutt, black headgear goes flying off. That was great.
Yeah, I thought Alexander looked good with Ishii, but kind of not as good with Okada. He was only in there with him for like a couple instances, but it wasn't like I didn't get the same vibes as like Bad Dude Tito and Okada. Not the same kind of chemistry, but yeah. So they just looked. I don't know. It didn't hit for me, but him and Ishii hit for sure. I haven't seen a ton of Josh Alexander, so this is kind of like the first time I've seen him really work. I've seen him like here and there, but nothing that I can like put my finger on to say, oh yeah, hey, if you want to get into Josh Alexander, go watch this match. I couldn't name anything for you, but was super surprised that Shelley took the L here. It's weird for me.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, but you think back to it, Shelley did beat Tanahashi at the Multiverse United 2 show this past August, and like we mentioned last week, Tanahashi really made a plea. He really wanted to beat one of these guys in this six-man match, especially Shelley, who got the win over him in August, so kind of getting the win back here. And I was talking to the young boy earlier today when he was getting ready to head out, and talking about this show, and I'm like, with Tanahashi pinning Shelley, I think that could leave the door open to Shelley defending the Impact title at Wrestle Kingdom against Tanahashi.
Nice, good thinking. That is a match I would like to see. I would like to see again because I'm a big Shelley mark, and Tanahashi's always thirsting after those world titles.
Yeah,
one more time, one more climb, one more climb to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, you could have him win the Impact World title for a little bit, do some tours of the U.S., drop it back. I think it'd be super fun to do.
Yeah, I bet Tanahashi loves Windsor, Ontario. He would love to visit Windsor and London. Southwestern Ontario is beautiful, especially in winter.
You said you were a Shelley guy. I was a big Sabin guy, man. I loved Chris Sabin. I was all about the Hail Sabin X Division. I remember the first Ultimate X that he was in with Matt Bentley and Frankie Kazarian and all those guys. Like Sabin I was a big Sabin mark, and then also when him and Shelley got together as Machine Guns, great tag team. Like you mentioned, a lot of fun stuff. Yeah, with Kevin Nash with the whole paparazzi production skits of them and Lethal and Sanjay and all of those X Division guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think long time coming for Sabin and Shelley to really get their respect. Like two great guys, and unfortunately, like you mentioned, they work for Impact. Impact doesn't get a ton of viewers. It's not appointment viewing amongst all the pro wrestling there is to watch, and I think people forget how great they are. Kevin Kelly and Charlton were mentioning there's so many moves that have been ripped off from those guys. They've influenced so many tag teams, so many young high flyers. Those guys are really, really great, and they're legends, man. And I think they don't always get their due. I think they're one of the best tag teams ever, and I wish they were spotlighted more on a bigger stage like this.
Yeah, I agree. Just fantastic, super crisp. That high speed style for tag teams. When I first saw a Motor City Machine Guns match, and I saw them do that combo that they do with the drop kick, and then Shelley does he grabs the neck and flips over the
lock
guy.
kind of thing.
Yeah. The first time I saw that, I was like, whoa, what am I watching? This is really cool tag team wrestling. This is something different. And I was, really, really love the style, love the pace. That's if there was a MJPW, the Motor City Machine Guns would be it. So yeah, I love to see him again. And if we're getting Tanahashi versus Alex Shelley at the Tokyo Dome, sign me up. I'm way into that.
Yeah, and also that's just speculation, folks. Don't go out, tweeting out Jeremy Donovan reports Shelley versus Tanahashi at the Dome. I'm just, putting some breadcrumbs together, looking at the tea leaves and kind of seeing how the cards are being set. Because you got to think about it. What else is Tanahashi going to do at the Tokyo Dome? There's not a lot left for him unless he's going to face an Umino or one of these younger guys. Asuji, like that could be cool, but there's kind of a built-in storyline here, and I think Alex Shelley's a guy that deserves to be spotlighted on a Tokyo Dome card. Their multiverse match was great. Running back, like I said, you can have Tanahashi win it, and it'd be a cool kind of thing for Tanahashi. And Josh Alexander too. I know you mentioned, I thought he looked good. I mean, check out a lot of his Impact World Title matches before he got the injury. Like, he was having a great run as the Impact World Champion. He has a lot of solid matches. He's done some New Japan Strong stuff as well. So yeah, I think he's definitely a guy that kind of fits more of that never strong style type of style. Saw that here when he was mixing it up with Tomohiro Ishii. And also too, like, so a little story here. So Josh Alexander is challenging Alex Shelley for the Impact World Title at Bound for Glory. So you have the challenger and champion on the same team, and towards the end of the matchup, Josh Alexander accidentally hit Shelley, which kind of led into Tanahashi hitting the twist and shout and the sling blade high fly flow and getting the win. So kind of teased there that, did Josh hit Shelley on purpose? So that's kind of an interesting little note that they played out there as well.
Yeah. It's can they coexist, right? There wasn't it wasn't too heavy-handed like it is in other promotions, right? So
yeah,
it was there. They had the little moment that caused Alex Shelley to lose, and they played it up a little bit afterwards. Chris and Kevin did, and we'll see. I may not be watching Bound for Glory, though Ospreay's on that card, isn't he?
Yeah, Will Ospreay is facing Speedball Mike Bailey, so that will potentially be a match of the year contender. That's an easy, I think, 5 stars from Dave there. So that'll be a fun matchup, and also if Josh Alexander wins, he will defend the title against Will Ospreay, I think, the following night at their TV taping.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's Ospreayism right there.
Yeah. We had a quick question here from Barry Wall. Says, supposing Bryan Danielson does wrestle Zack Sabre Jr. at Wrestle Kingdom, what does Okada do this year? Unless they have him beat Ospreay on the way out for the Intercontinental or whatever it will be called, then belt, I can't see what else he can do. Side point, he could then call it the real world title and bring back the V4 again just to be his trollish, livable best.
I know what he can do.
What?
Defend that never 6-man open weight championship. Have we forgotten that Kazuchika Okada is the 1/3 of the never 6-man championships? Open weight champion?
Yeah, I mean, it does seem kind of odd to not have an Okada singles match, but I mean, him, Tanahashi, and Ishii have been having great matches with these never 6-man titles, and if you throw a super team together, I don't know who it would be. I mean, they already faced like Blackpool Combat Club at Dominion, but if you can find like a team of that caliber, either within New Japan or another promotion, like you could throw a super team together, I think that could be a cool thing to do.
Someone like TMDK could probably use it. They could probably use a bone. Like Tanahashi, Okada, and Ishii. Do they really need these belts? No. TMDK, they could probably use them.
Yeah, but if I was going to have them drop the belts, though, I'd probably get it off of them before Wrestle Kingdom.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like the Okada singles match and the Tanahashi singles match are just two valuable spots, especially in a year where you're still trying to recoup and you want to sell Tokyo Dome tickets. I definitely think you need an Okada singles match. I mean, obviously, I think, the Bryan Danielson match could be at play. I mean, get him in there with one of these young guys. Like, why not Okada versus Tsuji or Okada versus Umino? Like, really, give these guys a chance. I mean, Okada will probably still win, but having an Okada Tokyo Dome match under your belt can be a great thing for the resume. Yeah,
agree. So I guess to answer the question, I have no idea. But yeah. I got a couple of thoughts. None of which make a lot of money, I don't think.
Yeah, we're not in the room. We don't have Gato's notebook. We haven't hacked into his Google Drive or his docs of booking plans are. So just pure speculation here. So moving on to the next matchup, we had the never openweight title match, and the challenger Tama Tonga defeats the champion David Finlay to become the new never openweight champion. 19 minutes and 39 seconds.
This was a very, very brutal, hard-hitting match, and like brutal in a good way. I really like this match. I'm happy Tama got the W, which I think sets him up probably for a never open weight match against maybe Bright Lights Carl Anderson at the Tokyo Dome. Who knows? No, I really enjoy this match. I think Tama had a ton of snap on everything today. Like the exploders looked amazing, the planchas and the splashes all had tons of energy behind them, lots of vertical. I hope this ends this Finlay Tama Tonga saga. I'd like to see Finlay in something higher profile now. Again, failing up with the rest of his war dogs. But I think for Finlay, like if he can, continue putting on these kind of like grueling fortitude testing matches, with like that, I'll call it appropriately placed plunder, then I think he can find a spot for himself at the top of the card. Because I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really good, very hard hitting, very never, but I think could be elevated to that next championship level.
Yeah, definitely. I thought the match was good, really hard hitting. Also, they played up a lot of the story of the last match, not the G1 match, but the match before, where Finlay, had Tama carted off on the stretcher afterwards. So in this match, I mean, there was a large part where Finlay was in control, being very brutal onto Tama Tonga. Had a spot there where he, powerbombed him to a table. So it was looking very similar to that match they had earlier in the year where Tama looked like he was about to be taken out. Finlay is doing all of the power bombs again, but then, Tama counters it into a gun stun, which kind of gave him some life, got him back in the match, and then he was able to hit that double underhook J Driller to get the win. Yeah,
nice little match. I wouldn't say nothing to write home about, but I really enjoyed it. I liked it. It was a different pace from some of these other matches, and it was very, very hard hitting. Something is right up my alley.
Yeah, I think it could have probably been a little bit shorter, especially as we've gotten to this part of the card. Besides that, it was very good, and I agree with you in the point that I do hope that these guys kind of go two different directions. Like Josh mentioned last week, there's only so much you could do of Tama Tonga feuding with Bullet Club. Like that's pretty much been his whole existence since being kicked out of the Bullet Club a couple years ago now. Like he's always kind of been in the feud with these guys. So it'll be interesting to see, all right, what does a Tama Tonga run look like when he's not facing off against these guys? And I agree with you also with Finlay. Like we mentioned last week, if Finlay's going to be the leader of the Bullet Club, he needs to be facing Ospreay. He needs to be facing Okada. He needs to be facing the top guys. So I think, him failing up could be the good call here. I think maybe him challenging Ospreay for the UK title at Power Struggle might be the move there to do something big with Finlay. But I think definitely the right call is to have these guys go their separate ways.
Yep.
We did have a question here that just came in from our boy Rambones. He says, do you miss the old Never division of tough guys throwing forearms? I feel like the division and the title are lacking a distinctive identity, which makes it feel just like any other mid-card title instead of the special thing it was.
Rambones wants the tough white man division back.
Oh, man. I mean, the Never title's kind of been in a weird spot since the IC title went away. Because once they got rid of the IC title, the game plan was like, all right, let's transition the never title from being the third title, that the hard hitting, tough man title, into the secondary title. Let's put it on Jay White. Pandemic happened. Couldn't really get the title defended that much, and you just kind of had this whole weird lull. We eventually get Jay back in the country, but the never title was never the same after that. And Ishii's been in the mix since then, but it just has not been quite the same. You haven't had a ton of Ishii Shingos, Ishii Gotos, those kind of matches, and like I feel like it's kind of been in this kind of weird struggle to figure out, where does it fit in? Like you have the US/UK title that's kind of been the second title, but now the never title's kind of competing for that, and you're not really having your traditional strong style guys in the mix.
They didn't need to change the identity of the never title. Now, did Jay White have the belt before Tana had it?
I think Tanahashi, hold on, I'm trying to remember.
Did Tanahashi beat Jay White for the never title? I can't remember, but Tanahashi is not your prototypical never title defender. Same with Jay White. I mean, Jay White could kind of do it, but not to the degree that folks, your Ishii's, your Tomoaki Honmas do for the never division. But I think now, getting back to Rambone's question, is they have a division. Great-O-Khan can be a never challenger. Hanare can be a never challenger. They've got guys. Tsuji could be a good person there, but Shingo, right? If you want Tsuji a little bit higher, US title, world title scene, Shingo is a great person to have in that never division title. You've got Narita could compete there.
Got Taichi.
Taichi can compete there. So you have a division of really, really compelling matches. So seems easy to book for me. With all those guys in there, I'd love to see Hanare with that belt.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so I pulled up the records here. So Jay White got the belt from Tanahashi, and then Jay dropped it to Ishii.
So it was Tanahashi's fault then.
Yes. But I did enjoy, though, Tanahashi winning the belt from Shingo at New Beginning in Nagoya. Man, I love that match so much. I wrote a whole column about it. It was just, that Shingo Tanahashi match was just the perfect blend of New Japan style and Dragon Gate and strong style and everything. Yeah, that match was so great.
When a match is so good, it makes you want to put pen to paper. That's something that is a special match. So I love to hear that. It's this match spoke to me so much, I had to write about it. That's awesome. That's a good experience to have.
We had a question here from Def Triangle 720. What do you think is next for Finlay, and who should Tama feud with for the never title?
So for Finlay, obviously Finlay, we want to see him moving up. Whether it's challenging for another title or something that puts him in a high profile feud. I don't know who that's with, whether he, goes for Ospreay. It seems like that would be the natural person to go to. And maybe you run that program, and it's David Finlay, the career killer, that gives everybody the Irish kiss goodbye at the end of their New Japan careers. But
that's a great call right there. Yeah, Finlay was a guy that gave Jay White the boot on the way out to AEW, and with all the rumors speculating that Will Ospreay is AEW bound, you could have Tokyo Dome, Finlay versus Ospreay. Finlay beats him. That's Ospreay's last match in New Japan, and he's off to Conlan.
Yeah, it would make sense for me. For Tama, I don't know, line him up. like, I don't know how long Tama's around for either. There's been a lot of talk with him, right? So, and like me reading way too much into Tangaloa's bowing to the crowd at the end of his match versus Chase. But like for Tama, I think Tama can easily do the Never style, Hinare, Shingo. Those are matches I want to see. Like, I'm very much interested in seeing Tama Tonga fight those matches. So hopefully we get a nice little lineup of challengers for that Never title.
Yeah, like you mentioned, there's tons of guys that they can put in Tama's way, and there's tons of stuff they could do with Finley. Like I said, just keep Tama away from Bullet Club, away from House of Torture, anything Bullet Club adjacent or related. Let's see him do something different. There's a ton of guys that he can mix it up with. Do him and Suzuki, like him and Nagata, like have him in there with some of those strong style veterans, some of the legends of the Never division.
Give Hanma one more run. Hanma Mania needs to run wild, baby. One more time.
Give my boy Kojima one more shot.
Man, Kojima is a great guy that's going to sell tickets, and he's gonna deliver.
Oh yeah.
Like all those guys. Honestly, man, if I can move like Suzuki and Kojima at their age, that's I need to get on whatever program they're on. Those guys are, so fast. Like Suzuki is still like fleet of foot. Like I don't think his knees have ever like ached a day in his life, because he's sprinting, hitting the ropes. Some of the older guys, they don't run the ropes as well as they used to. But Suzuki, man, he flies into those corners. He's in those turnbuckles like he's like Bret Hart. So apologies for the additional Bret Hart reference there, but
well, I mean, you're Canadian. You kind of have to.
And I do live in Calgary, so it's I am in Hitman country.
All right, let's move on to the semi-main event from the show. It was for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. The champion, Hiromu Takahashi, defeats Speedball Mike Bailey and Yo 17 minutes and 53 seconds to retain the championship.
Yeah, this match was missing Leo big time. I think Yo acquitted himself well in the match. He showed some good fire, but it didn't hit the next gear for me. I don't know. There were places where it did, like Bailey was doing, Mike Bailey things. But yeah, especially down the closing stretch, like the finish was kind of lackluster for me. I like the New Japan style where you're getting counter, big move, kick outs, that type of stuff. This match didn't have that for me. So I think Yo did as well as he could, coming in on probably 1 day notice. And he looked okay. Yo throws some really, really good super kicks. Like some of the best super kicks I've seen. Like he gets great extension on him. He killed Hiromu with a couple of them. I won't knock Yo, but this match really could have benefited from having a Leo rush in it.
Yeah, I know we were knocking Yo a couple of weeks ago, talking about him not really showing anything. And, even from like the press conference in this match, I felt he was really fired up and did show a lot. And I agree with you. Also, this whole feud, it was really built around Hiromu and Leo. Speedball was just kind of, the icing on the cake here. So yeah, it was kind of a letdown not to have Leo Rush in this match. And I feel bad for him because he was in a hot run. And I thought he was doing some great work here in this program with Hiromu. But yeah, I thought Yo stepped in and it did a good job stepping in. Overall, I thought this was a really good junior style matchup. I like that Yo kind of paid tribute to Leo here. He did the final hour frog splash for a great near fall at one point in the match,
and it looked amazing.
Yeah,
like Yo should do that move. Like when Leo's not on the tours, he should be doing that because he hits that really, really well.
Yeah, I also think he did the rush hour stunner thing as well. So yeah, giving a shout out to his partner there, and then of course Speedball was doing Speedball stuff. The flipping, the knees, and the spin kicks, and all cool stuff that he does. The shooting star. So yeah, he looked great as well. So yeah, towards the end here came down to Hiromu and Yo, where Hiromu caught him he reversed the direct drive, got him up with the time bomb, had to follow up with time bomb 2, and he got the big win here.
Yeah, and Mike Bailey started going crazy after the match. He was screaming "Moto, Moto!" like all the way up the ramp. He was like, you could hear him still screaming it, even when Hiromu stopped acknowledging him. So hopefully, what this leads to is a singles match versus Mike Bailey and a singles match versus Leo. I'm three ways they're okay. They can be great, but there's nothing like a New Japan Junior Heavyweight Championship match.
Yeah, hopefully Leo will make a recovery in a couple of weeks. I'm assuming that him and Yo will be a part of Super Junior Tag League, and I do know there is a press conference that will be airing on NJPW World at 2 a.m. So by the time our show comes out, a lot of news about what's happening with Junior Tag League and Power Struggle will be out there. So we're a little bit ahead of the curve here, but I'm assuming that Leo and Yo would be a team there in Super Junior Tag League. So hopefully he's all right. But this could be a thing. This could end up being a good thing for him. Like you mentioned, this could lead to another singles Hiromu match, and maybe at Power Struggle, maybe at the Dome. Leo gets another shot. And so,
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And then post match, we have a little angle here. So the lights go out and crowd pops and back on, and it's the Bone Soldier Taiji Ishimori returning from injury. The man that took him out was Hiromu. He's back from the cervical spine injury he had, and also he made it very clear that he was coming after the time bomb.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this. I knew he was due back soon, and I think there had been some rumors that he might be X with just 5 guys. But Ishimori's a great dude to have in the junior division. Exciting to see him return. We'll see where he shakes out. Is he still Bullet Club? Is he House of Torture? Like who does he end up with?
Which side is he on?
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where he ends up.
Yeah, also Taiji and Hiromu have a history of great matches together. So yeah, it should be a fun matchup wherever it takes place. So yeah, I was not expecting Ishimori to be back either. I was kind of disappointed at this point in the show of the lack of walkout challengers. We've seen several title matches so far in the evening. And I'm sitting there waiting, all right, is somebody going to come out and challenge Tama? Is somebody going to come out and challenge the War Dogs? Is somebody going to come out and challenge ELP and Hikuleo? And nobody was coming out. So it was good to finally get a walkout challenger here, a surprise return of Ishimori.
Yeah.
And our boy Rainbow Slam Pig says, given that there was an angle after the junior title match to set up the challenger, I assume Hiromu was winning even if Leo Rush participated. Do you agree? If so, do you think that Hiromu will break the title defense record for the junior title?
That's a tough question. And with no, I mean, there's no consequence if I'm wrong. So I don't know why I'm afraid to make a call here. Yeah, I think Hiromu probably was. Where I'm iffy is around this breaking of the record, where he's been talking about it, but hasn't been talking about it for a long time. They haven't been putting up graphics of Hiromu has defended the belt 9 times. This is his 9th defense. He's only 3 more away from from breaking the record or what have you, right? That's sort of, if they were telling that type of story, that's something that I would expect them to do from like a booking standpoint. So it feels like they're unsure, but I was, if there was ever a time for Leo Rush to have the belt, it would have been then. But I think he's so good that could he be the guy that prevents Hiromu from breaking the record? That would be something that I could get into, because I think he should have a big long run with that title. Brings a different flavor to the top of the division. Tons of new matches, and I'm looking forward to that when it does happen. Yeah, and did Ishimori's return sort of give it away? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Hiromu was going to retain. Like you mentioned, that there kind of was this story told at the beginning of his run that his plan was to break the title defense record. And like you mentioned, it's kind of gotten forgot about because, you roll into G1 season all summer. And even though he was all over the place, he was wrestling in all these promotions in Japan. He did the All-Star Junior Festival in the U.S. He was in Multiverse United for Impact. He was doing all these shows, but he wasn't really defending the title. So you kind of forgot about that. And now we're back post G1. Juniors are back in the mix, and now he's starting to kind of pick back up. And like you mentioned, probably the more Western style of thing would be like flashing graphics. So yeah, he's V9, he's this, he's this close, but I think sometimes New Japan, like they try to like make it a little subtle, maybe make you forget about it a little bit. So when it's the right time to really kind of drive it home and he's closer, maybe they'll do that. And so, yeah, I think it's a thing where, yeah, he's probably going to end up still being champion of Tokyo Dome. I think he's going to either break the record or, like you mentioned, like be one away from the record and you have somebody stop him. So I definitely think that story is still at play going forward. So moving on to the next matchup here, the main event, what everybody came for, the IWGP World Heavyweight Title Lumberjack Death Match. The champion, Sanada, retains and defeats Evil in 28 minutes and 1 second.
Yeah, Evil showed up looking like he's ready for winter in Calgary, man, with that bite. He showed up rocking that bison skin. Yo, Evil must be making a grip on those t-shirts because bison skin is not cheap, I'll tell you that. So, he came out, Okada comes out wearing a robe full of money. That robe, I will tell you, if that's real bison skin, he's rocking a couple $1,000 robe right there.
Looked like he was ready for, being Game of Thrones or something.
Yeah, exactly. GOT versus HOT.
Oh man.
Yeah. Sonata came out looking like Sonata. Nothing new.
At least he wore the robe finally. I feel like he hasn't wore the robe the whole tour.
Yeah. It's only for special occasions. House is larger than 1,000 people. But so House of Torture was on some real gang turf war type of stuff here because full strength Taka, Taichi, Yuya, and Dookie are no match for Yujiro Takahashi, Dick Togo, and friends. Like they can't manage them at full strength. It's clear. The House of Torture is too much for just five guys. This is a one-sided battle here. What do you think the over-under FanDuel was for ref bumps in this match? Because
I don't know. They should have put it very high because it was comical the amount of ref bumps.
There's four refs. They all got bumped more than once. What is going on?
Yeah, literally they rolled out every main roster New Japan referee.
Yeah, and you know what? And I still feel like the crowd wasn't hot for it. Like the crowd was pretty mild. I won't say they weren't into it because there were definitely moments where the crowd was into it. You know, like Evil put the sharpshooter on Sonata, and the crowd, they started making a little bit of noise. They started oohing and ahhing. Um, and you know, the final closing stretch had people excited, but we weren't getting a ton of Sanada, Sanada. And we got a little bit of fire from Sonata. The match was okay. Like, despite everything that happened, it was just kind of like chaos, and like how I was actually surprised at like how else are they going to beat up a ref, or how else are is this pin going to get broken up. It was quite I will say this about Dick Togo: the guy has got great timing for yanking those refs out of the ring. Um, so yeah, that's at least Sonata won a year's supply of rice vinegar at the end of it.
Yeah, man, this match had all the gimmicks, like you mentioned, multiple ref bumps, and the thing with the crowd, like, yeah, like also they were reacting to some stuff. There were some boos, but like you mentioned, like it wasn't visceral. Like there wasn't this like groundswell. There wasn't these loud Sonata chants. Like the crowd, they weren't like living and dying with every move these guys are doing, and and the whole point of this lumberjack match was to have just five guys out there. Like that was Sonata's whole plan. It was like, all right, my team will be out here to counteract the other team. But I feel like it took forever for just five guys to like get in the mix. Like we had all these ref bumps, and like how the Torch was like beating the crap out of Sonata. I'm like, where
The refs, the one ref, Kenta Sato or whatever his name is, can hold back five professional wrestlers, while behind his back Sonata is getting stomped by five dudes. It's totally ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. Like, toss the ref aside, go and save your friend. Like,
right, or even some of the points where like Sonata was thrown to the outside and those guys were jumping him. Like, run around. Like, what do you like? You don't have to wait unless that's their rules to like attack the person. Like, you should be able to like go out there, make the save. Like, so I felt like there could have been more fire on that side of things with those guys who are kind of really standing up for Sonata and kind of fighting off how the Torture. And I know that this has kind of become like the great debate in the New Japan fan base on whether or not House of Torture is actually good, whether or not it's good heat, whether they're getting reactions, X, Y, Z. And here, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's fair to have that discussion, but I think for most people's, like, at least the vast majority of Western fans' sensibilities, and like this, it doesn't kind of not, maybe it's not for us, but like we don't like it, and I think from the reactions, even on the booing side, it wasn't white hot. Like, remember we talked 2 weeks ago, there was one guy in the crowd booing, right?
Yeah.
And so we are, I just don't know how long the shtick can go on at the top of the card. I think I think it peaked. Like, you can't put them back at the top of the card, like, for a long time. And I knew that they weren't. Like, Evil was relegated to the bottom of the card for like 2 years, almost. Like, ever since he lost the title, he wasn't sort of at the top of the card. They were House of Torture. They were shitting it up at the bottom of the card, and nobody could be fussed because they were having dog cage matches and stuff where like you didn't have to pay attention, and you didn't have to be emotionally invested in the outcomes. But when there are world titles and the prestige of the organization, and like even for a fan, you want to be somewhat proud of that high-end match, right? You want to say, this is the New Japan World Championship, and that belt has a standard. It's always had a standard, and those matches are the stuff of legend. It is what people talk about. It's what people used to hunt for tapes and DVDs. They used to do all this type of stuff, and this is not a match that anyone would ever, desire to search out for. Only the true sickos would be looking for this match on DVD. And so I think for all the talk that this match is a referendum on Sonata's reign, like they were saying in the commentary, I think we can't have that reflection until after January 4th. I'd like to look back on Sonata's reign in its entirety, and without that Naito match, I don't think you can fully judge his reign. From a business perspective, I don't think you can expect Sonata to deliver Okada numbers. I don't think that's fair. Because when you remember, the move to strap up Sonata in the first place was part of this strategic shake up that NJPW was doing, right? Post-pandemic. They're like, okay, we're going to take this time. We're going to elevate a whole crop of new competitors. We're going to diversify the top title scene. And so I think the Naito match is key, is the bookend for Sonata's title reign. And I don't think we can fairly judge it until that one goes. Because if he has a 35-minute banger with Naito, and it draws all the emotions out of everybody, and you have that, and even business-wise, you can't look at it until you see what the Tokyo Dome numbers are. Because if Sonata at the top of the card draws a big old house with Naito, that's part of the equation.
Yeah, I do think Sonata and Naito will be a good draw. There's a lot of LIJ sickos out there that will, be all about that. I want to see them have that match. But before we talk about that, this main event, let me wrap up my thoughts here.
Yeah.
So to all the people out there who love the House of Torture style of match, I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you got the type of match you want. Good for you. But I don't know. It's not for me. Been doing this show now since the end of 2017, and to look back at all the great IWGP heavyweight / world title matches that we've reviewed over the years. I'm talking about your Kenny Omegas versus Kazuchika Okadas, your Kazuchika Okadas versus Zack Sabre Jr., your Shingo Takagi versus Will Ospreay. The list goes on and on of all these classic great world heavyweight title matches that we've seen, we reviewed. Like you mentioned, MJ, some of those Okada Tanahashi stuff. People were before there was NJPW World, before the rise of streaming, and people are, like you mentioned, tape traders. They're searching, they're begging. You had the whole Ustream thing. People were doing what they could to see some of these matches, seeing some of these epic world IWGP heavyweight title matches. There's a style. There's something that's what New Japan is built on. These great epic main events, these classic style matches for the top prize. In other parts of the card, yeah, you could have your Funny Gaga, you could have your Toru Yano doing his thing, you could have your Taguchi, shoving stuff up his butt or whatever. But when it came to the main event, when it came to the IWGP heavyweight title, you knew what you were in for. You knew you were going to see a classic bout. You knew you were going to see two of the best wrestlers in the world facing off and claim to try to win the richest prize in this sport. And this main event that they presented this morning was not that. And I'm sorry. You can say all the good stuff you want about Evil and the booing and some of the reactions. this match, like you mentioned, this is a match. Like, if this match was for the KOPW title, I'd have been like, you know what? It was fine, wacky, goofy, KOPW title on the undercard of a Destruction show, fine. But no, this is a Ryogoku Sumo Hall. You can look back at some of the epic classics that happened in Sumo Hall, some of the great title defenses that happened on Destruction tours. Like this was no Kenny Omega versus Tomohiro Ishii. And I know people might say, oh, well, that's kind of played out. You got to try something new. But I'm sorry, when something's hitting, when you have the magic formula, you don't have to try something new. Do you see McDonald's coming out here trying to reinvent the Big Mac? Like, yeah, they might do some seasonal kind of gimmick, but at the end of the day, their top draw is the Big Mac, and that's what they're pushing. Like, you don't come out here and reinvent the wheel. It's the IWGP World Title. Hulk Hogan said it best. It's not a toy. It's not a trinket like other world titles. This is supposed to be the top title in professional wrestling, in the top professional wrestling promotion in the world. And that's not what this title has been treated like, especially with this feud with Evil. I thought this was a disgrace in the legacy of great world title matches. And, I thought this was even worse than the Evil Naito stuff in 2020. And that was bad enough. And I think the thing that made that work was the fact that the crowd was so behind Naito. You did have those visceral Naito fans that just wanted to see him beat Evil so bad, but you don't have that same kind of support that Naito had for Sonata. It's just not there. And so you lack that. You throw in all this shenanigans, the 4 ref bumps, Red Shoes down, Kendo Sato, Marty Asami, like all these guys are out. Just 5 guys barely fighting back. The garrote wires, the low blows, Dick Togo pulling the ref out at 2. I'm just like, and I get it. That's their stick. Maybe I shouldn't be bothered by it. Maybe I should just kind of be like everybody else and pretend that, this is fun. This is entertainment. Like, no. Like, if I want to watch goofy world title matches, I'll turn on AEW right now, because their world title scene is not much better right now. And I really hope that this is the end of whatever that they're doing with the world title here in New Japan, and this whole Sonata Naito stuff can kind of get us back on track.
Preach. Preach.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I felt like I was being a little bit too negative a couple of weeks ago, so I toned it down. I was trying to find the positives. I didn't want to be a negative Nancy, so thank you, Jeremy, for perfectly encapsulating what us as the Western fan, and I'm pretty sure that there are Japanese fans, Eastern fans who feel exactly the same way. There is no way, no chance that you could fill up any arena with Evil at the top of the card doing what they're doing. And it is the same shtick over and over again. It is tiresome. It's even lost. It loses its heat because it's repetitive. And it's there's just nothing else there. So I agree, and I'm with you where it's thank goodness we are putting this behind us, because it is not reflective of what those 4 letters IWGP are mean. Because when you talk about IWGP championship matches, what you think of is quality. Mm-hmm. That is what this product is. If above anything else, it is quality. And that's kind of what attracts most of us to this product, because it's not the weekly episodic TV where you're following it every Wednesday night or every Monday or whenever you're watching your TV. You're watching a different product, and you're watching these Korakuen shows, or even at the whatever cultural gymnasium, Hyogo Prefecture, community family center that they're doing these shows in, and all the lights are on and you can see everybody around there. It's not a atmosphere that's conducive to like television, right? Like you're not showing this kind of stuff on a TV, but we still sit here and watch it because of the quality. And this match was not quality. It's not. I don't even know how this idea gets past the fictional IWGP booking committee, or like the folks that are behind the business, like even the business guys. Like, if you're still struggling to sell tickets, like, why are you putting this at the top of your card? It's it's crazy. Like, I know that they are, and I would imagine that they're fairly conservative company, like in the things that they do. So with Gato taking chances, or like strapping up Sonata, we're going to change what's happening at the top of the card, and then some of the other stuff they're being very conservative with, not pushing Narita, not pushing Shota, like having these guys in stasis a little bit, because they are maybe their appetite for risk, and like disruption within their organization is lower than it would be for us as like Western fans who are used to chaos week to week. Like, if you were a WWE fan, like this is like a natural course of action, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in like New Japan, there are things that are very consistent. They are not. They don't do a ton of like swerves and like double swerves and all that kind of stuff. So it's not. They're not. They're not dripping in angles every tour, right? And so like. I do hope that this is the last we've seen of this iteration of House of Torture at the top of the card, and we can go back to I can anyways, going back to skipping their matches.
Yeah, it's just one thing, like I feel like we've been talking about this in the Largo Loop group chat today. It just feels like all across wrestling, we have a bunch of bad world champions between Sonata, MJF, and Roman Reigns. And the one thing with New Japan, like if stuff is going wrong in the Western world, like you could always hang your hat on the IWGP title matches, what's going on in that scene. And now it's right up there for all the hot mess that's going on across all of wrestling right now. And the stuff that brought people to the buildings that sold, pre-pandemic, what was, putting butts in seats, Okada versus Tanahashi, Okada versus Naito, Okada versus Omega versus Naito. Like, those were the things that were bringing people. That's why we all watch New Japan. That's why, we all take January 4th off and we watch Wrestle Kingdom. Like, that's the kind of stuff we came here for. That's what attracted so many people to this product. And that's what New Japan's built its name on, built its legacy on. So, to the fans out there that love this match, that love the House of Torture style, again, I say I'm happy for you. I'm glad you got what you want. But I know that me and MJ are not the only ones who enjoy the traditional style, a classic main event style that New Japan was built upon. And I think that's what the promotion needs to go back to sell buildings out, to draw money, to have full houses. They need to be doing more of that and less of whatever this was.
Amen.
So let's go through some questions here. Front of the show, Zach Porter says, will Josh actually watch the main event? I don't know. If I was him, I would not. So Josh, if you're listening, I won't blame you if you don't go back and watch this match.
Yeah. Shout out to Zach. Zach and I chat on Instagram about hockey
Nice.
often. So shout out to Zach.
Rambone Slaying Pig says, has there ever been a long tag team who broke up and had less chemistry while feuding than Sonata and Evil?
Yes.
Shonyo. Death Triangle 720. How do you think New Japan can make the Wrestle Kingdom main event feel special?
Well,
Not have 4 ref bumps, not have LIJ and just 5 guys running all around the ring and in the match and pulling red shoes out of the ring.
Yeah, no gimmicks, please. The gimmick needs to be the traditional world championship match. I will even take a 40-minute match. I know that we were complaining about the world title scene going too long, and that, Sonata had shortened that down a little bit, which is another strategic move by the organization that is, catering to a certain noisier group of fans that are saying, man, these 45-minute matches, like the 45-minute matches with like Jay White and stuff, like it's kind of tough to get through. Let's have them shorter, a little bit faster. So hopefully, want to see something with pace. I want something to sink my teeth into. I need to be emotionally invested in the outcome of this match. And for me, as a Naito guy, I'm not that much of a sicko where I am fiending for a roll call at the Tokyo Dome. I don't know why this is the key thing. It feels like that is more important than winning the title for me a little bit. And that's weird. But I want Naito to have a run. I want him to be the champion. I want him to defend against a whole whack of people, have a year-long run because he deserves it. He got cut off at the knees, the first go around, and I think he really he can make it exciting. I think the fans are still behind him, and I think he needs it for his legacy. He's already going to be a Hall of Famer. He's already the best merch guy on the planet. Let this guy have a real legitimate run with that title and bring some prestige back to the top of the card, because El Ingobernable is going to do that.
Yeah, I think there's, all the history and backstory there to make this feel special. There's a lot of kind of personal animosity here with Sonata leaving LIJ, starting his own faction, winning the world title without Naito. There's a lot to play in here. Like we mentioned, the LIJ fan base is rabid. I think if they tell a story correctly here, play it out, you could do some good preview matches with just 5 guys against LIJ. I think those will be some fun matches. You can have Yuya and Suji mix it up in those matches. I think there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with both factions going against each other. But yeah, I think all the pieces are there to make this a compelling story. But I think it's going to be, what's going to happen when the bell rings. And I think these guys, they have the tools to have a great match. And we just got to see if they're going to do it come January 4th.
Yeah. And I love the idea of a LIJ just 5 guys feud. Give me Hiromu versus Doki.
Yes.
Yeah. Give me that. I would love, you know what? Have that be one of Hiromu's defenses coming up. Let Doki shine, man.
Yes, Doki's the man. Let's see. Next question here from Everything is Evil Dr. Lariat. He says, Ikemen who always have been the major draws for New Japan. Of all the Reiwa generation, which handsome boy is going to go the furthest? I honestly think Yuya is the most attractive and will be the Tanahashi to Gene Blast Nakamura.
Yeah. Yeah, they are very handsome gentlemen. Let me tell you, they've got a good looking crop of kids, and who's got the highest ceiling? I want to say Suji's the easy pick.
Mhm.
But I think Shota probably has the highest long-term ceiling. I need to see more from Uemura. You know, being good looking and built isn't it. You need the Suji charisma. You need something special about you. Otherwise, you're Sonata, right? You're a 4-tool player rather than a 5-tool player.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. For me, right, I'm a Suji guy right now. So far, out of all the guys coming back, he's displayed everything that you need. So yeah, I'm full stock on him right now. He also asks, what do you think stupid sexy Sonata will do post title run?
Well, we talked about this before, and we'd love to see him back in the tag division. Maybe tagging with Yuya now that he's there, and because I want to see Taichi in some singles runs. But if we get a Sonata Taichi, brochachos situation, I'm also here for that as well. I think Sonata will do better in the tag team division. I know that may relegate just 5 guys a little bit as a faction, but I think it's kind of necessary. It's a necessary thing for that group. They had an opportunity, and they put all their cards in Sonata's basket, right? And the rest of the guys haven't been elevated with him. I think we were all hoping for Suji to have or not Suji, sorry, Doki to have a resurgence here. I think we were hoping to see Taichi blossom a little bit more, but some of these things got cut off in this House of Torture feud, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything got paused. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, anyways.
Yeah, I think the real test of whether or not this push worked for Sonata is what's going to happen post title run. Because we saw what happened with Evil in 2020. He lost a belt and plummeted down to the mid-card opening of shows. And this was the first time that Evil's been back in a big main event like this since then. So the real thing's going to get the follow-up. Like, is once Sonata loses the belt, like, is what was done going to be enough to sustain him to have top-of-the-card feuds going forward? Or is he going to tumble back down and be the mid card, be the same old Sonata that we're used to, just that he's wearing, just 5 guys colors?
Yeah, I think the challenge with Sonata is that for him, he had that the story that he was telling was like, I have hit rock bottom. I am losing to a bunch of guys I shouldn't be losing to, and Taichi lifts him up and awakens something inside of him. So he's told that, he's had that narrative arc. So I don't think you can go back to that type of a story where he needs to climb up from the bottom. I think he needs to be at a level where he's a Zack Sabre Jr. level, right? Where he's always a credible threat, can always beat anybody at any time, and he gets hot and goes on a run and can compete for a major title, or hold a U.S. title and elevate it. That's going to be the test for Sonata and his career, who he is as a professional wrestler for the rest of his days. Is he a top of the card player? Is he a guy that can carry a belt and have great programs and put butts in seats, whether it's the top draw or as one of these secondary belts? Can he do that? Because I don't think he can go. He can't do the Drake started from the bottom situation again.
Yeah. Some questions here from the Dark Soldier. Says Jay White has stolen the AEW belt from MJF. Should Max learn from Sonata and not care that his belt was taken from him?
Yeah, it's a weird thing that's happening right now, and why Jay White doesn't even seem like the kind of type of guy that is a belt stealer. But like, I don't know. Did he do it in New Japan? Did he steal people's belts in New Japan?
I can't really. I mean, I'm sure he's like held a title, like laid out Okada and held a title over him, but he never like took it until he won it.
Yeah, kept it captive and pretended he was like he was the champion. Like, this is a direct ripoff of what Evil is doing. Like, is Evil like the influencer? Is he the catalyst of pro wrestling?
Maybe he is. He also asked, would you say Kanemaru's heel turn is one of the top 10 anime betrayals?
Anime betrayals?
Yeah.
You know, I like anime, but I'm not deep into the game like that. I can't pull references out like that. Like, I'll watch a good one, but like, yeah. Is it a top 10 betrayal for me? Maybe a bottom 10. There's probably been I could probably, if I thought about it, could think a bunch more top betrayals.
Yeah. I don't know where it ranks, but I mean, it was definitely a great, the whole angle was great. You know, Young Boy's mind was blown. We were all blown, you know, that they worked, you know, a serious injury, used the black and white line mark to trick us. And yeah, I mean, it was definitely a really good betrayal.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next question here. He says, talking about being lucky just five guys is, had Yuya not gotten the pink slip in Impact, he'd still be there and the group would remain just four guys. Had Kanemaru not turned heel, it could have been just six guys. Funny, ain't it?
I guess so. I'm not sure that I understand the question. I don't know if there's some deep references in there.
I think he's just playing off of dumb wrestling logic. Like, if Yuya doesn't get fired, like, he doesn't get to be the fifth guy. So would there actually be a fifth guy? Will there be four guys? But then if Kanemaru doesn't turn and Yuya gets fired and comes over, then there's six guys. Like, there's all this kind of like dumb wrestling logic that you could play with if you wanted to.
There certainly is, and like, you know, we're grown men talking about these fantastic stories. Like, my wife looks at me like, you are just like, how do you do this? How do you watch these things? Are you seriously have to spend 5 hours watching wrestling today? I was like, no, I'll put it on like 1.5 speed, and it will be not as it will not be 5 hours. And so it's, yeah, dumb wrestling logic. It's hilarious. It's what we're into this fantastic sport for. But yeah, the number in just five guys. Why can't they be just guys, just some guys, you know, and like. Just a couple of guys. Then they can't, couple of guys. Then they can't do the beer.
Then they can't do the grift. They can't, you know, put out new shirts. You know, drop a member, sell the old shirts, get another member, bring back the new shirts. Like,
yeah,
it's all a grift.
Yeah. It is a big grift. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Rambo and Slab Pig says, on paper this card didn't look like the most exciting, but I feel like it mostly delivered -3 matches. Main event, Loa Owens, Tonga Finley. Did the juniors save this card? I felt the junior tag match way over-delivered, as did the junior title three-way.
Yeah, the junior matches are, you know, they rarely under-deliver. And maybe that's a function of like expectations just not being set, except for like a Hiromu match has certain expectations that come with it. But yeah, this card definitely, you know, was pretty good. I'm surprised he didn't like Finley and Tama Tonga, or, you know, is that I don't know. I haven't been online today, so I don't know how people feel. Is this like a common? Is this a common sentiment?
I haven't seen a ton of people mention that matchup. I know people are just kind of over Finley in general, and not really big on his heel turn and what he's been doing lately. And I know, yeah, a lot of people are not really into the whole him and Tama Tonga feud. So Yeah, I'll look and see what other people are saying.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but I think Finley can do it. Like I feel like this match delivered. Like for what like for what David Finley is trying to do, to be this like savage and like vicious guy, he's sort of achieving that and like putting on a pretty entertaining match while having this hard hitting, you know, plunderish type of match. So I don't know. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that he's low on that. But I enjoyed it. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
overall, I mean, this was a fine card. Like, this is not a show of the year candidate. I probably won't remember this show a few months from now. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, on paper, it wasn't that great. I did think, yeah, the junior three-way was really good. The junior tag was really good. I thought the Never Six Man. I think for me, the Never Six Man is probably my match of the night on this card. So there was definitely some stuff on here. I feel like the card could have been trimmed down a bit. Like, did we need, LIJ versus United Empire round 20? I get wanting to kind of debut Uemura ahead of time, but could you not just have debuted him like at the end and
Totally agree.
cut that
Agree
match?
Totally.
So there was some fluff that could have been cut. But yeah, just kind of a C show that is not going to really be remembered besides having a horrible main event.
Yeah. That's really what it will be known for, is having one of the worst IWGP heavyweight title matches of all time.
Yeah. And so, like I mentioned earlier, there is going to be a press conference New Japan's holding tonight at 2 a.m. Eastern. So, like I said, by the time this audio comes out, the press conference would have happened, but likely announcements. They'll probably, do the official Wrestle Kingdom 18 announcement, which we forgot. We're so busy talking about the match, we forgot to mention post-match, Naito did come face to face with Sonata, and they pretty much made the match official, Naito versus Sonata, meaning we're probably not getting a title match at Power Struggle. But yeah, the press conference will probably make that match, official. We'll probably get the teams for Super Junior Tag League, as well as the schedule. We'll get the full card for Royal Quest 3. And then we'll probably get the rest of the card for Fighting Spirit Unleashed, as well as maybe some matches for Power Struggle. So stay tuned for that press conference, and we'll cover all that stuff next week on the show. And next week we will be reviewing Royal Quest 3. As of this recording, we only have 5 matches, just 5 matches. El Desperado versus Trent Seven, Yota Tsuji versus Luke Jacobs, Eddie Kingston, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Michael Oku versus Hanare, Jeff Cobb, and TJP, Tomohiro Ishii versus Shingo Takagi, and what I'm guessing is going to be the main event, the IWGP US/UK heavyweight title match. Will Ospreay defends against the NJPW World TV Champion Zack Sabre Jr. NJ, thoughts on the matches that we have so far?
This is a card. This is a sick card already. Like, these 5 matches, I'm ready to tune in. Now, how do we tune in to this one? Is it going to be, do we have to pay for this one?
Yeah, so this is going to be airing on Rev Pro on demand. So if you want to watch the show live, you have to order the Rev Pro streaming service, and then it will be up on NJPW World probably a week or two after the show happens.
All right. Well, maybe I'll have to drop some pounds on the UK stream. So this looks sick. Ospreay's Saber is going to be fire. Tsuji, Luke Jacobs. I haven't seen Luke Jacobs wrestle before, but all I've heard are good things. So
yeah, Luke Jacobs is dope. Him versus Ishii from Rev Pro, and the show before, All In. Incredible, like, great stuff. So him and Tsuji they're gonna tear the house down. Ishii and Shingo, we know what they can do. Like, they're going to tear your house down, and we know what Ospreay and Sabre can do. So yeah, this card is looking really great.
And you know what? Like, I know people like to kind of shit on Trent Seven, but him and Desperado are, I would say, don't sleep on that match, because Desperado is a sicko, and I've seen Trent Seven have some really good matches in WWE UK, and he was in a tag team, right? For a long time.
Mustache Mountain with Tyler Bate.
They had banger matches too. So I think hopefully he comes in fighting shape, ready to go with Despy, and don't sleep.
Yeah, I mean, Trent Seven's like Despy in the fact that they won't fear risking their bodies to have a great match. He's taken some crazy bumps over his career. So yeah, both these guys, I could see them doing some wild stuff to have a really fun match. Well, that's going to take us into the news. So we had it made official that Eddie Kingston will be defending the strong openweight title against Hanare at Fighting Spirit Unleashed, as well as Julia will be defending the NJPW Strong Women's Championship against Hyan. So that's Fighting Spirit Unleashed, October 28th in Las Vegas. We had some names announced for the Texas tapings coming up for the Texas show, Lone Star Shootout. So John Moxley, Tetsuya Naito, Mystico, David Finlay, Kenta, and Ultimo Guerrero have all been announced for the November 10th show in Garland, Texas. Walker Stewart, who we've talked about on this show and kind of talked about his role as English commentator, he announced officially that he will debut as an announcer on the 10/28 Fighting Spirit Unleashed show in Las Vegas. So looking forward to his debut. He'll be calling the show with Beta Scott, and then I believe going forward, he'll be heading to Japan and covering English commentary for New Japan going forward. Like I mentioned earlier, Josh Alexander will face Will Ospreay the day after Bound for Glory at the Bound for Glory Fallout on October 22nd at Cicero Stadium in Chicago. If Alexander wins at Bound for Glory, it will be a world title match. And then last piece of news here, on October 14th at MLW Slaughterhouse, our good friend Rocky Romero will face the MLW middleweight champion Akira.
The strategic partnership in action.
That's right. Then last few questions here from the Dark Soldier, and we'll wrap things up. So he says, guys, is it more likely that we have Adam Copeland, who we all know is Sexton Hardcastle, appearing on NJPW television to fight Okada, than it is to see both women's championships of NJPW appearing in NJPW programming?
Dirty question. Big Cope. I don't know if we'll see Big Cope at the Tokyo Dome. He's been I wouldn't say dropping breadcrumbs, but like loaves of bread.
Kojima-sized bread.
Yeah, trying to get a booking. I haven't seen a guy that thirsty for a booking. He's got some Mutoism. Let's just say that he's trying to match himself up with everybody at the top of the card. Rough question. I don't know what the answer is.
If he's not counting U.S. shows, I don't know. Also, like I mentioned, we're going to see Julia in High-End at the end of this month. But if he's not counting, if he's talking like straight up domestic New Japan, I'm guessing maybe Wrestle Kingdom. We'll see the IWGP Women's Championship probably in the opener or the pre-show.
Yep. What about the Strong Championship?
Who knows?
Aren't these titles on two of the greatest women's wrestlers out right now, like Mayu Iwatani and Julia?
Yeah.
Like, aren't these the biggest draws in Stardom? Aren't they the two like top draws?
They're two of the top stars. You would think that. Yeah, you would want to feature them more on shows and do bigger stuff. I mean, I'd be down for a champion versus champion at the Dome. Julia versus Mayu.
A double gold dash.
Oh man, yeah, something like that. Let's see. Also asked, why isn't Tom Lawler on any of the shows? Guy has charisma and talent and employed as far as we know, yet he's been completely absent. What's going on?
I don't know. Money?
Yeah, from my understanding, with New Japan's financial position, they've had a hard time bringing in more foreigners like they would normally do. They kind of have to pick and choose, and for whatever reason, Tom's just not a guy that they choose often. I thought it was kind of head-scratching that they didn't bring him in for G1 and only bringing him in for those Independence Day shows. I think Tom's great. I feel like he has a ton of opportunities that kind of get pulled from him due to sicknesses and injuries and stuff that doesn't out of his control. So I think the guy just needs a break, whether it's in New Japan or ends up being AEW. But yeah, he's definitely, like we were talking about the Never title, like he's a great guy to get in that Never division.
Yep. I'd like to see him in the New Japan Cup, see how he does. You know, he had a great G1, like he acquitted himself absolutely fine, deserved another run. So let's hopefully, if they're back in a position, if Sonata draws a huge house, maybe we'll see Tom Lawler back in for the New Japan Cup.
Yeah, let's get him in the Rambo. Let's get him a Tokyo Dome payday.
Yeah, how about that?
Then he says, to end my question, can you guys please release a questions thread not so close to when you record? So many times when I remember I have to send in my questions, it's too late because it's barely 2 days to when you post it on Reddit. At least 3 days can be of help. Yes, we'll try better, but it's one of those things where like the main show that we're covering was today on Monday, so I wasn't really expecting people to have questions because the show happened today. So that's why I threw it up like after the show was aired. But once, depending on the timing, I will try to get the threads out there ahead of time. You can always email me. Barry Walsh emails me all the time. Jeremy@socialsuplex.com to get questions in. Also, we have a Discord channel, our Discord daddy right here. MJ will welcome you. You can drop questions in there all throughout the week, and we can add them to the rundown. But we still will try and get the Reddits up there too.
Yeah,
as well.
You don't have to wait, baby.
Come on the Discord. Well, that's gonna wrap it up. We're gonna push off recommended match of the week until Josh comes back, and actually he might be out for next week show as well. But I do have a guest lined up for us next week as well. Suit Williams from Voices of Wrestling will be joining me next week. We will review Royal Quest 3 and we will preview Super Junior Tag League. MJ, thank you for coming in, filling in, taking your Thanksgiving day to be here. Hopefully you don't get too much heat with the wife and the kids. I saw them doing a run-in, giving you some love. So hopefully there's not too much heat on you from this.
No, hopefully not. And, thankful to be here. Always a pleasure. Hope to be back sometime soon.
Definitely. Well, that's going to wrap things up for us here this week. Like I mentioned, next week we will review Royal Quest 3. We'll preview Super Junior Tag League and cover all this news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So if you enjoyed today's show, please consider making a donation. Visit socialsuplex.com/donate and click on the donate button under the Keeping It Strong Style logo. Make sure you connect with us on social media. On X, the show is at KI Strong Style. You can follow me at Jeremy L. Donovan. You can follow the network at Social Suplex on Facebook, facebook.com/Social Suplex. On Instagram at Social Suplex. On Reddit, I'm the Pro Black Guy, just keeping a strong style. You can email me, Jeremy@socialsuplex.com. Check out all the other shows that we have here on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. One Nation Radio, hosted by Rich Latta and James Boyd. All Things Elite, hosted by Floyd Johnson Jr. and Austin Samowitz. And there will be some new shows joining the network later this month. I believe there's going to be one that's going to start recording this week. So make sure you're subscribed to the network feed. You're not going to want to miss that out. It's going to be a familiar voice that's been on this show, launching a show on the network. So you're going to want to make sure to check that out. Should be probably coming out next week. So subscribe, support the network, support all the shows here. So don't forget to subscribe and leave a rating and review. And we will catch you next week on Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.